Hi everybody, welcome to another low on health game video review where I kind of go over what games I've been playing recently. Kind of getting a little bit backlogged on them, so I'm kind of just going to bang out a couple here real quick. These are two games that I kind of knew about and I played them because of the summer drought. There's really not that many new games coming out just yet, even though right now they're starting to kind of trickle out. But right now what I'm going to do here is discuss two of them, which is going to be, of course, Field and Stream Total Outdoorsman Challenge. Yes, I have to read that full thing because it's long. And then Darkstar One for the 360. They're both for the 360. First I'm going to talk about real quick is going to be Darkstar One. In which case, Darkstar One is very much kind of along the lines of the FreeLancer private tier PC games. If some of you who don't know what those are, they're basically games where you have like a ship and you go around and you can trade and shoot people, and it's basically a big space sim. Now, I had originally played Darkstar One on the PC probably about 3 or 4 years ago. In which case, it was okay. It still was no FreeLancer. FreeLancer is still kind of the pinnacle of those types of games. I mean, I loved playing FreeLancer back in the day, and I really still highly regard it. I mean, I could talk FreeLancer all I want. I'm going to take that time to do it. I love FreeLancer a lot. It had a great single-player campaign. It had an awesome online multiplayer community where you could easily mod stuff. I even ran a server on my home PC and at work during lunch. It was such a small and easy game to play. It didn't really use that much resources. We would dial into my home one and all play at work during lunch and stuff, and that was just great. And I really just loved FreeLancer back in the day, and it's still a game every now and then when I play a game that's kind of like Darkstar or Sins of the Solar Empire or other games like that have come out on the PC. I always end up just throwing FreeLancer and just playing through it because it's just a really good game. It has a great mod community, and it's just a really good game. Darkstar 1 tries to capitalize on that, and this is the first game of its type for the 360. They haven't really bought these space expansion type of games to the 360. In which case, it's not that great of a game on the 360. They did a very good job with the controls and mapping it to the controller. I'll give them credit on that. Kudos for doing that. But it's still basically, they haven't polished it up that much. I mean, the gameplay itself is solid, but the problem is like the presentation is still like 4 years old. Even 4 years old, it was dated. The voice acting is horrible. You've probably seen the cutscenes every now and then. The character models are just extremely, extremely rough. And that just made it really difficult to get immersed into it. And then the story is just garbage. Just not even that great whatsoever. I mean, the character loses track of what he's trying to do, gets easily sidetracked, and I was like, screw it. I'm not going to bother with it. Maybe I'll rent it again later down the road, but I kind of just gave up on it and just remembered how great, FreeLancer was back in the day. But I will say the in-game visuals are good. I mean, they do a good, space, is blank and, Aryan space. They did a good job with the planets. I'm trying to think what else I have here. They do have like they had a decent, really good autosave feature where you could hard save, and then it had frequent autosaves, and it would actually keep track of like 10 different autosaves, so you can easily go back to rectify mistakes and choices, or if you get overpowered. So I did like that about the game. A decent design, but overall I just couldn't keep playing it. Maybe I'll come back to it. If I find it really cheap, I'll pick it up. But as space sims go, this is the only one on the 360, so it's probably the best space sim we're going to have on a console. Probably the only one we're going to have on a console. Moving on here, the next game I want to mention is going to be Field and Stream Outdoor Challenge, blah, 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 blah. This is, of course, everyday gamers. They basically this is exactly how the game looks. This is the menu. Apparently, Outdoorsman and whatnot is basically a magazine, and they decided, hey, let's make a video game about hunting. Which, in premise, is good, and naturally, these aren't the type of games I play normally. But I was like, hey, whatever, I'll try this out. I will give the game props. It has a lot of choices. Like, you have a bunch of different type of hunting guns, different accessories, different ways to kind of do stuff. It does have, a decent amount of locales, but the problem is all the locales look like garbage. I mean, this is like a really bad Xbox game. It's just horrible, and you'll see in a second here. The loading times were a lot infrequent. The character models, the animal models aren't that great. The soundscape alone, like when you hear something, you're like, oh, it must be over there. The soundscape was just horrible. They could have done a really better job on the whole soundscape of the game. Like, I was hoping to get kind of immersed, but that did not happen whatsoever. You get a lot of invisible walls. You can't really jump or climb over obstacles. You get kind of dead-ended a lot. And it is mainly, kind of stealth-ish. I mean, you have to be quiet around the animals. But I did like they have basically missions that you can do. Like, you have to hunt X amount of animals. The problem with me is I didn't know exactly, you can only use certain weapons to hunt certain things, or they're not regulation, and it kind of demotes you for that. And I was like, whatever, I'm not behind that whatsoever. And to unlock other areas and different weapons and whatnot, you have to basically play by the rules, and I just couldn't get behind that. But I did enjoy just kind of running around. You can do tracking, which is really cool. You can actually track animals. Like, you can see their footprint and go into like a tracker mode and kind of see where they're at, see their scent. You can do different calls and lures and stuff. You can actually like have a little like teepee tent thing in a bush, and you can kind of call them out and wait for them, and that's kind of cool. You can kind of snipe things too. An interesting thing I liked was basically you can, like, if you shoot them and you wound them, you have to finish it, which is kind of cool. Like, you'll see the animal just limping by like a deer or doe. An interesting fun moment in the game, I was just kind of gallivanting around, and then because you can't really see that well and it looks horrible, a bear like kind of popped out of nowhere, and like, oh my god, a bear, and like it almost killed me. Like, luckily I had like an automated assault rifle and just switched to it and mowed the bear down. It was like, you're not supposed to use that weapon to hunt this animal. I'm like, I don't care, the animal is attacking me. But really, this isn't that great of a game. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but it was kind of fun just to kind of play this type of game, because you usually kind of disenfranchise these games, like, oh, it's crap. And I usually don't like hunting games whatsoever, mainly because they're like this. If this was like a top-notch game, which, you know, granted it probably will never be, but if they make like a top-notch hunting game, I could see it doing really well. I am kind of a fan of the fishing games. I'm not a big fisherman, but I do like the water graphics, the fish graphics. And, you know, I kind of like, I forgot which one was released recently in this generation, but there was like one release where you could actually play online with friends and whatnot. And I thought that was kind of cool to have a fishing game like that. But this hunting game is just horrible, and it really looks like maybe they hired a bunch of kids right out of college from the magazine, like, hey, since you guys can't get any jobs because of the market, we'll make a hunting game real quick. And this is what they threw together. And I mean, it was just horrible. Can't recommend it. But other than that, let me go ahead and pause this. I will be probably banging out another couple of these reviews. I am doing a bunch of musical games. Basically, a lot of the expansions and metal packs and track packs for different, the Guitar Hero and the Rock bands. I'm kind of working on playing all those and culminating a massive review, me talking about each one of those. But I will have another one coming up, and we have a bunch of new games coming out soon. Basically, I just finished Mafia 2. We got Kingdom Hearts coming out soon. I'm super psyched up for that. And then, of course, Halo, which is about a week or two. And then kind of the whole big rollout of games coming out. So, yay! The summer drought is kind of officially ending soon, and we'll be getting a bunch of new games. So, as always, I would like to thank you guys for watching these, and I will catch you next time.